Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I have decided to start a new kind of recurring series called Arm's Length Art. So this is my new little intro card to this. And what is it all about? Basically, you know how sometimes you're like, I have way too much stuff in my space. Well, that's what it's about. It's about let's use up the things that I can reach while sitting right here at my art desk, and there will be no allowance for like, let's get up and go and find this or that. No, it's just sit here and figure out how to use the things that are around me. So I do have like a lot of stuff to grab around me because I actually do have quite a nice organized space on the most part around me, or at least I have a lot of stuff, I should say, around me. So we will leave the debate up to whether or not it's organized. So I think I'm going to start pretty easy with a couple things here. So over the holidays, this Tuesday 10 bin has gotten just miraculously out of control. So that is going to be number one. And if you're not familiar with Tuesday 10 is a collaboration that I do, that I host most Tuesdays. You're welcome to join me. It involves taking 10 things out of a basket of things that you keep or whatever, and using them up. You just keep on crafting until it's all used up. So that's near me. I've obviously got my scrap bin. I have all sorts of stuff going on here, you guys. So let's just kind of get into it. Now, I guess the first thing I need to do is decide what I want to make first. I've been doing a bit of cutting for a couple books that I'm working on, and I've got some scraps like left over from that. So I think I might kind of start with those to just use them up now before they become yet another installation in the studio of things that I don't need. So those I think will be good. And these butterfly halves. Oh, that's pretty. It's always hard to make decisions on what to use. But yeah, I feel good because I'm not doing any like additional kind of challenge this month. I'm just like, I decided to take a break from Junk Journal July so that I could just kind of make what I want to make. I'm planning, I'm in the beginning stages of 2 different journals that are going to be coming next in my lineup, and I'm excited about those. I'm starting another little project, kind of a throwback to art that I used to do that I want to bring back into my world, and I will share that with you as I get it done. I've got a few things to kind of work out on that. I went back to work this week and it was pretty quiet still because, like, you know, a lot of people still are taking the rest of the week off, and they're not there to ask me questions. So I had a little bit of a prep week, which was good with work. I did some training I've been meaning to do. It's funny, every year we all set objectives for our staff, and our managers usually set objectives for us. I think that's common in a lot of corporate jobs. And so I always get like my objectives done as it relates to like the work I do every year, but like objectives about like self-improvement, like training, like to, help boost your career, that is always the thing that like I never have time to do. And I realize it's because like I don't make time for it, and I need to, because I'm always rushing it the last at the last chance I can get. And it's not because I feel like I don't need the training. I do. We all need extra, training to kind of make ourselves better. And yeah. So that's what I've been doing this week. I'm going to decide how I want to embellish. So, one thing about this arm's length is you're probably going to see lots of my arms kind of going like, oh, can I get to those? And that is what I'm going to do. right now. So behind, at the back of my desk, I have like a little tin box of different paper dolls and things of that nature. And I think I might want to bring a paper doll into this, into both of these actually. These are both cute. So she's beautiful. And then I think I kind of want this on the edge, which means that she too will be on the edge here, I think. Unless, is she kind of with the butterfly? Not sure. I kind of feel like I want her to be like, this big wing is coming off of her. But what does that mean in terms of the shape of this piece? Think. Because it's a huge wing. Or maybe she'd be down here with the butterfly up behind her. Yeah, you know what? And then maybe some words or something would be kind of cool. Okay. Let's begin that. Okay. Went out today to the thrift store, not to do any like crafty thrifting, but to look for a little chair for my daughter's desk. I'm looking for kind of the perfect chair. It's got to be, has all these requirements. And so I didn't find it, but I did find a little dresser for her room that will give her some more storage space. So I was happy about that, because currently she has a bedside table, not like a table, like a bedside dresser with drawers. So I found this really cute little narrow dresser that will perfectly pop right in between her bed and the wall, and it'll give her a little extra space for bedside things, which I think she needs, because she'll be like reading or drawing or journaling in her bed, and then she's kind of stacking it all up on top of this table that already has her lamp and her humidifier, and so it's kind of like a little bit jammed for her. So I want to improve that for her. Okay, so I like that. I need to even it out though. What was I doing? Okay, there we go. So yeah, that's good. And then I think I will do the same kind of thing with the other moth here. Like that. And then do we want him? Yeah, he kind of looks like, I want to say almost foreboding, but it's not foreboding. It's like just very keyed into what's going on. Although there's also this little girl with this umbrella. Oh, I like her. I almost think she might be better, because she's so tiny. It's like she's just kind of giving this little bit of magic, you know? It's very cute. Also, she's very cute. No, I'm going to go with her. That's my gut instinct. So I'll put these back. Arm's reach again here. Ho-hum. And we'll glue this down. Had to do a bunch of errands today, so I did that, and now I'm just kind of feeling a little tired, to be honest. I think my kids are also feeling a little bit like maybe they sense that it's almost time for this break to be over and school to be back in, and like maybe there's a bit of like, I don't know. I think like you're sometimes that you can be a little reactive to change, right? Like how things change, and when you know you've had the comfort of sleeping in every day, you haven't had to get ready for school or anything like that, and then you know that's about to come to a stop. It's like, I always find those things can kind of mess with me a little bit. Keep getting these weather advisories about snow, and it's like, well, it is winter. I don't know why the Weather Network needs to tell me there will be snow or rain or wind or fog. We seem to get some kind of a notification for every kind of weather nowadays. It's very strange. Okay, so these both need backing, and we need something to kind of zhuzh them up word-wise. So I need to move a couple things. A couple books here. Not this one. I'll just set that over here. Okay. From the Man of the Forest, let's see if we can't locate some words that are nice. Maybe with like blackout poetry methodology. A bear of enormous size. Helen's heart stopped. Her tongue clove to the roof of her mouth. So heart stopped could work. The bear turned. His mouth was open, red and dripping. He looked shaggy, gray. He let out a terrible bawl. Helen's every muscle froze stiff. Her horse plunged high and sidewise. Heart stopped. High and sidewise. Wheeling almost in the air. Maybe almost in the air could be good. Maybe heart stopped isn't really appropriate. I'm going to leave that one out. She did not see the horse break into the woods. Okay. Almost in the air, into the woods. Her gaze never left the bear, even while she was falling, and it seemed she alighted in an upright position with her back against a bush. It upheld her. The bear wagged his huge head from side to side. Then, as the hound barked close at hand, he turned to run heavily uphill and out of the opening. The instant of his disappearance was one of collapse. That is kind of a cool line. The instant of his disappearance was one of collapse. For Helen, frozen with horror, she had been unable to move or feel or think. All at once, she was a quivering mass of cold, helpless flesh, wet with perspiration, sick with a shuddering, retching internal convulsion, her mind liberated from paralyzing shock. The moment was as horrible as that in which the bear had bawled his frightful rage. A stark, icy black emotion seemed in possession of her. She could not lift a hand, yet all of her body appeared shaking. She was there was a fluttering. Okay, that's perfect. There was a fluttering. A strangling in her throat. The crushing weight that surrounded her heart eased before she recovered use of her limbs. So we'll say her heart eased. Then the naked and terrible thing was gone, like a nightmare giving way to consciousness. What blessed relief! Helen wildly gazed about her. The bear and hound were out of sight, and so was her horse. She stood up very dizzy and weak. Thought of Beau then seemed to revive her, to shock different life and feeling throughout all her cold extremities. She listened. Maybe she listened. She heard a thudding of hooves down the slope, then Dale's clear, strong call. She answered. It appeared long before he burst out of the woods, riding hard and leading her horse. In that time she recovered fully, and when he reached her to put a sudden halt upon the fiery ranger, she caught the bridle he threw and swiftly mounted her horse. The feel of the saddle seemed different. Dale's piercing gray glance thrilled her strangely. Might go with thrilled her strangely. You're white. Are you hurt? He said. No, I was scared. But he threw you? Yes, he certainly threw me. Okay, so we have here a page about a bear attack. And what did I keep from it? So, almost in the air, into the woods, her gaze never left. The instant of his disappearance was one of collapse. There was a fluttering, her heart eased, she listened, thrilled her strangely. That's what we have left. So let's use those words and, rewrite this exciting little story about how a girl first loses sight of, her butterfly friend who flies away and then comes back to her, and she's once again at ease. And we will forget all about this horrible bear attack that was happening here. The magic of blackout poetry, right? Okay, so I need to bring this up here so that we can pop these pieces on. I'm going to put them directly on the card. This is a very tiny text, this book, which normally I'm not so chuffed about using, but it's okay. That's the book we have, and that's the book we'll use. And I think we came up with a nice bit of writing. When I went to the thrift store today, would you believe I stayed on task? I did not even look at the craft stuff, nor the books. I just went into furniture, looked for the furniture that I was looking for, and had to pay the kid tax. I had to get my kids something because they were with me. And I always allow them to get one thing. They're allowed to get one thing. So my daughter chose a bag of plastic snakes with the idea of playing a trick on her grandmother's. That should go over well. And my son got this little, I swear, my son, every time we go anywhere, he gets something that becomes like this really time-intensive project for my husband. Because I just kind of disappear magically when these things come out because I don't want to deal with them. I'm not even going to lie. My husband has been a champion of indulging my son's desire to build every possible kind of marble run, Lego contraption. Yeah. And I think it's funny because my husband, for Christmas, the gift that he got our family, I'm actually very excited about it though, is this Make Do set. It's MAKEDO, Make Do. And it is a bunch of tools that are safe for children for making cardboard things. And so you can cut cardboard and you can score it, punch holes in it. There's all these different kinds of building concepts to, mechanisms. And so he said, I don't know what I'm getting myself into with this, but I think they're going to like it. And they love it. They built a robot yesterday, and they made the basis for what we're going to use to make Halloween masks. Just kind of measuring their heads and everything and kind of getting a start on that. My daughter built a tripod to shoot a little cardboard marble out of using an elastic as a slingshot, and she just came up with that in her head. It's amazing how things those kind of things they'll really spark your kids' imagination before you even really get that into it, honestly. So yeah, it's been a really nice little thing they've been playing with. Okay. Let's get all these put down. But yeah, I managed to not do any unnecessary thrifting. I'm really trying to use things up this year. I've definitely, I would say, met my stride as it relates to having the supplies that I need to kind of be feel creative, like in my space. Like if I had to create, if I wanted to make something, I feel, you know, for a lot of things that I know I want to make, I've got the supplies to do so. I just need to kind of, you know, work on hunting them out and stuff. And that's exciting. I will still thrift a little bit. Like I don't feel the need, like I'm not at some kind of like scary capacity in my studio or anything. I'm actually pretty well organized, and I do use the things that I buy. Like I've had a few people that comment like, oh, I remember when you got that in a thrift haul. And yeah, like I do use things. I don't hoard things. Like I mean, if I do hoard them, I hoard them for a short amount of time, and I think I do it only until I feel like, okay, yes, this is the right project for this. This is it, right? And then I go ahead, like, you know, especially with things like books, like, you know, people probably are like, holy cow, why does she buy so many books? Well, so like the books that I buy, they sort of fall into 2 or 3 categories. One is like, I bought it for the cover. It's usually an antique or vintage book. And I will not hoard that at all. Like I will immediately, as soon as I feel inspired to use that book, I will use it. And I usually, I think when I buy books nowadays, I use them pretty soon after I buy them. I do have a nice big stack of old books, and I will still buy, like, I'm a lot pickier now about the old books that I buy. I kind of really want the cover to be something magical if I buy it, because I've come to the understanding that, like, there's a lot of nice different kinds of journals, and you don't actually need to use antique books, vintage books to make them, because, you know, I really like making fabric covers, soft covers. I really like covering just regular hardcovers with fabric or with other materials. So like, there's never going to be a time where, even if I'm out of old books, that I feel like I'm not going to be able to make an interesting journal because I don't have an old book, right? Like that's not going to ever happen. But that being said, I do love working with old books, so I will still buy them because I feel like their time is finite. You know, I don't think forever I'm going to have the ability to get old, beautiful books. I think eventually there will probably, the first thing I think that will happen is possibly scarcity of the really pretty ones because of resellers. And then secondly, just the economic markup of things, right? How we're seeing with a lot of things. I, for some reason, have like floated through life with like this thing that's happened where I start wanting to collect things, and as soon as I start to do, like, I've gotten to a point where, like, I've gotten a decent amount of things, then they become, like, all the rage. Like, I have a massive collection of Pyrex, like, tons of Pyrex, beautiful and some quite rare pieces, not, like, the really super rare ones, but, I mean, if I wanted those, I actually have a source to get them. I just wouldn't pay the money because it's a dish. And I always kind of believe in that. Like, I think about things not in their value, but in their, like, what are they to me? Like, I'm never going to buy something that is, you know, like I would never buy a $10,000 handbag because the brand to me isn't important. I have no desire to make rich people richer. Like, you know, it's not important to me to be like wearing Balenciaga or carrying a Coach bag or whatever. It's just not. It's a bag. It's a pair of shoes. It's a pair of pants. I've always just kind of felt that way. Like, you know, I've bought a few different kinds of, like, you know, like I used to buy Betsy Johnson, you know, dresses and stuff like that because I like her and I don't feel like I'm supporting just some big label somewhere, you know, with these people who are just in a completely different world for me. Nowadays, I think it's cooler to do, like, purchasing things ethically, like, oh, this was all, you know, made from, like, natural materials or recycled materials. Like, I think that's way cooler. You know? So maybe I'm old now, I don't know, but that's just how I feel. So let's read another page of The Man of the Forest to see what we can find for this lovely, beautiful girl here. Helen never climbed so hard and fast before, and when they reached the ridgetop, she was all tuckered out. It was all she could do to not get on her horse. Dale led along the crest of this wooded ridge toward the western end. Which was considerably higher. So I think I'll go with considerably higher, maybe. In places, open rocky ground split the green timber. Okay, so let's say considerably higher the green timber. Dale pointed toward a promontory. Helen saw a splendid elk silhouetted against the sky. Let's go silhouetted against the sky. He was a light gray over all his hind quarters, shoulders and head black. His ponderous, widespread antlers towered over him, adding to the wildness of this magnificent pose. The wildness of his magnificent pose as he stood there looking down into the valley, no doubt listening for the bay of the hound. When he heard Dale's horse, he gave one bound, gracefully and wonderfully carrying his antlers to disappear in the green. Disappear in the green. Again on a bare patch of ground, Dale pointed down. Helen saw big round tracks toeing in a little and gave her a chill. She knew these were grizzly tracks. Hard riding was not possible on this ridge crest, a fact that gave Helen time to catch her breath. At length, coming out upon the very summit of the mountain, Dale heard the hound. Helen's eyes feasted afar upon a wild scene of rugged grandeur. I'm going to say eyes feasted afar upon a wild scene. Before she looked down on this western slope at her feet to see bare, gradual descent, leading down to sparsely wooded bench and onto a deep green canon. Let's say deep green. Ride hard now, yelled Dale. I see Beau, and I'll have to ride up to catch her. Dale spurred down the slope. Helen rode in his tracks, and though she plunged so fast that she felt her hair stand up with fright, she saw him draw away from her. Sometimes her horse slid on his haunches for a few yards, and at these hazardous moments she got her feet out of the stirrups so as to fall free from him if he went down. Let's say fall free. She let him choose the way while she gazed ahead at Dale and then farther on in the hope of seeing Beau. At last she was rewarded. Far down the wooded bench she saw a gray flash of the little Mustang and a bright glint of Beau's hair. I will say saw a gray flash, a bright glint. Her heart swelled. We'll say heart swelled. Dale would soon overhaul Beau and come between her and peril, and on the instant, though Helen was unconscious of it then, a remarkable change came over her spirit. Fear left her. Let's do fear left her. And a hot, exulting, incomprehensible something took possession of her. She let the horse run, and when he had plunged to the foot of the slope of soft ground, he broke out across the say slope of soft ground. So let's see what we have left. So we have this story essentially of like a man kind of going after like, what was it, a wolf or something, and seeing the bear tracks again, and they're trying to, I think, get back to somewhere from this perilous woodsy kind of situation they're in. So I was left with considerably higher the green timber silhouetted against the sky. The wildness of his magnificent pose to disappear in the green. Eyes feasted afar upon a wild scene, deep green. Fall free, saw a gray flash, a bright glint, heart swelled, fear left her. Slope of soft ground. I think I'll get rid of slope of soft ground, but I'll keep all the rest. Yeah. Okay. So we will go back to putting this one together. I find these very addictive. I used to do all sorts of this kind of thing, like putting verses into books and journals and things when I was younger. I used to be very interested in writing like authors. I used to love going to a local authors festival that I used to volunteer at. My sociology teacher, she introduced me to it as a volunteering opportunity, and I met some incredible authors, and it just felt like such a romantic little opportunity, oopsie, my light turned off. And when I say romantic, I mean not like love-wise, but I mean, like romantic to the mind. Like you are getting involved. Let me just hit my light here. There we go. You're getting involved in some kind of a fun, cultural, intelligent thing. Okay. I would love to start that kind of thing, like an author's night or an artist's kind of night. I keep thinking like I need to find a venue, but the ironic part of it is, even though I'd say in most cities, the downtown of most cities are like, a ghost town. A lot of cities, smaller cities, don't have really much in the way of cultural nightlife, especially since the pandemic. And yet, so many of these buildings will sit empty, right, with no renter. But in order to be able to use those spaces, it is so expensive and out of touch for me. Like I couldn't afford to pay a monthly retail, because retail's very high rent to do that kind of thing. But I'd love to be able to provide a maker space, and maybe one of these days when I move or when I finally find that sugar daddy that I've been searching at or sugar mama for that point. No, but I'm joking. But no, I would really love to be able to do that kind of thing. Both my husband and I used to be involved in so many things like that, like creative spaces, and I definitely miss it. But I'll find something like that, even if I don't host it myself. I'll try to find something like that. I've been thinking a lot about how I really hope that it will become possible to have more community again. Because it's been challenging for the last couple of years. I think partly because of, from the time of the pandemic until now, as well as having small children and how it changes your life. I've actually found it quite incredible, like how much I've learned about how you change and how people change when you have children. Because I remember I used to have, I shouldn't say I used to have a friend. If I saw her today, I would absolutely call her my friend, but I don't see her anymore. I lost touch with this girl who, she was in my knitting group, and I used to be in several knitting groups, but I hosted one, and then she got pregnant with her first child and had her baby, and then, quickly got pregnant again afterward and went through the same process again. So, it's about 2 years to 3 years of just pregnancy and little baby, and then another year or two of still small baby, and then whatever happens next. For some people, your life normalizes again when you put those babies into daycare, so they're kind of like in a school setting, so you're back to work. But for other people, that's not how things go. They may choose to stay home instead of work. They may choose to homeschool, all those kind of things. But all I know is that it makes your friend a lot less available. You don't see them as often. And at first I didn't really understand that, and I felt like, I know she has a baby, but can't she leave the baby home with dad? I wouldn't say that to anybody, but I would think it in my head. And I know that I was thinking it simply because I just missed her. I just wanted to see her. And then, it's funny because I've actually lost friends. I've never lost friends in my entire life, but I did lose a couple of friends in the last couple of years who I think didn't really understand what it is for people to have small children. And if those small children, you know, if you have friends in your life who have neurodivergent small children or children, period, and you may not even know that, it can be even more so like isolating, and people don't really know why. And it's a lot to think about, that you don't really know other people's situations. You don't know it through social media. If you think you do, you're wrong. Social media does not depict real life most of the time. And also, the tone is gone. Social media offers us no tone, right? Like, you can say something, you can react to something, but like, it's possibly not even where your heart or your mind was, but the person can react or feel to what they saw or felt when they saw your reaction, right? So I think social media is just a big box of miscommunication most of the time, which is why I've really stopped using it in a lot of ways. Like, I detest Facebook. I don't use X. I stopped using it when Elon Musk bought it. I never was a big user of it, but him having it under his control absolutely made me never want to use it again. And then, you know, I don't know. It's a lot to think about, because I never really knew what it was to lose a friend until I did. And one was during the pandemic, in a very small miscommunication. And then the other was, and I mean, these are friends that I've had since my teens, and it was a very small miscommunication, but unfortunately with the person that it was involved with, she's the youngest of the family, so they will always stand behind her, even though, unfortunately, my opinion is that she's quite dysregulated a lot of the time. And I'm not saying that to defend myself or to be rude. I've had several third-party, unbiased people take a look at the conversation and tell me their feelings on it, because that's one thing I do. I try to, like, analyze. Am I overreacting? Like, am I the one here in the wrong? You know, so like, I will get other people to look at things anonymously and not tell them who's involved or what have you, to just kind of get a bit of a third opinion, and, like, you know, sometimes a fourth or fifth opinion, because I get really, I don't know if it's my personality type, but I have a hard time when people don't like me. I am, I don't know. It bothers me, you know? Nobody wants to not be, I guess, part of something, especially if you really like these people. And for me, I did quite like these people. They were flawed, but I don't care about that a whole lot. People can be flawed. I think I used to hold grudges for a long time, but I'm too old for that now. I don't hold grudges. And I think also because I have children, and if they've met my children, I think more about how it would impact my children to not have a relationship with them. But I mean, I also think about, how would it impact my children if they do have a relationship? Are they actually a positive kind of figure? And I honestly credit my husband with being slightly more balanced when it comes to making those decisions. So I definitely defer to him sometimes, because I get like pretty emotional about, you know, wanting everything to be hunky-dory when it isn't. And he said, you know, there's a reason that I didn't reach out to these people. I knew that you needed to, and I stayed out of it. But I also many times found myself struggling with how they were with you. And, you know, I never thought about it. It's so funny when you don't, like, I don't know, you don't really analyze how you're being treated or something. But yeah, I'm rambling. We made those 2 tags though, and I'm happy about that. I even made a little piece. Where did I put it? Right before I started the video, just to kind of warm myself up. This little piece here. So what else should I make? I feel like I did a lot of rambling, and the words, that takes a long time. Let's grab from the Tuesday 10 pile here. That's nice, but I think I like these little motifs, really. Got like some, oh, look at these puppets. Come on, you guys. I think we need to make like little paper doll puppets or something, maybe. Would this be a really weird little tag? They both would, right? Oh, it's cute. Paper, paper, paper. Oops. Okay, throw that back over in Tuesday 10 maybe. Let's get these little blocks here. Save those. And I don't think I need these. I don't. And then I think I do want to save her. That curtain is also pretty cute. That would make a nice piece. Let's do something with that. I'll let this guy go. And then I'll just move these out of the way and we'll work on this stuff. So, yeah, so that's my whole spiel about, you know, friends and socializing. But I'm also making a lot of new friends. I've been making friends with a lot of parents because, you know, when your kids do things, you end up meeting a lot of people. And I swear my phone is full of like so-and-so's mom. Like I don't even know their first name. It's funny. But I'm getting much better at like being the one to start engagements. I got out of that for a while, like sort of, I don't know, like I backed off waiting for other people to contact me or something, realizing that like if we all do that, no one's ever going to contact each other. I swear, I think it was that the pandemic made us really weirdly antisocial. And that's not at all who I've ever been, but I'm happy to kind of be getting myself back. So now I'm planning like lots of little play dates and things, and that's really fun. So this little curtain would be a nice side tuck. Okay. I also feel like slightly silly, like disjointed, because a lot of my YouTube friends here are doing Junk Journal January and I am not. And it's like, I'm trying not to get like FOMO, but it's fine. I don't need to do every challenge. And I really want to try to work on some journals that I'm really like dreaming about. And I want to work on my own series, my own recurring series that I have that are happening all the time. I want to get back into doing the Color Cubers videos, the Use Your Books, the Tuesday 10s, those kind of videos. And I have lots of other things that I want to do, tutorials. I've been kind of doing some pre-planning for a tutorial I want to do. I'm doing workshops for my Patreon. So yeah, it's not like I'm not doing anything. Sometimes we need to remind ourselves that we're not, you know, being lazy. It's just that there's lots to do. Ho hum. So many things. So this piece of brown paper, and then I've got this scrap left over from the last day of Defemorember. I love these little people. They're so much fun. It's the best way to use them, to tear around them. Could obviously tear a pocket. Ooh, excuse me, I am sleepy. Did a lot of errands today. I had like packages, so if you've ordered anything from the shop, it's on its way to you. What else did I do? Took the kids out for pizza for lunch. Did a bunch of work because it was a work day. Oh yeah, I went to the thrift store to search for the furniture that I never found, but hopefully I will. But yeah, I just feel kind of like tired. I need to think about dinner. I might make a peanut chicken or something. I think we'll just follow the natural torn edges of this. I also found a little steamer. It's this little like plastic steamer basket thing made by Pampered Chef that I know Pampered Chef is like, you know, one of those things that it's kind of like an MLM, but it's like not a super unethical kind of one, if that's even possible, because for me, I think I have more patience with MLMs that like don't make you carry stock, like Amway type ones, right? They're like a little less harmful to people than like, you know, companies like what is it, the $5 jewelry one that I can't stand. I want to say Panzerotti, but it's not that. Paparazzi, that's what it is. Yeah, they're a horrible company. Like, I watch a lot of anti-MLM YouTube because I had a friend who, well, I have friends who sell MLM. Mostly it's like an American thing. Like, I think Americans tend to sell MLM products more than any country I've ever seen before. And then I just feel so sad about it because they're so predatory. You know, like companies like LuLaRoe. I guess I should say allegedly, but, you know, I think a lot of them have actually been hit with lawsuits. But there's really good, like, if you're interested in that topic, I recommend the YouTubers Savannah Marie or Erin Bees. They're both really good. And my favorite, I think, is Savannah Marie, though. She's really thorough and smart on that topic. Does a lot more research than what I'm doing and just chatting with you about it. That's fun. And I'm gearing up. I'm so excited. I've started doing live streams on my Patreon for my Patreons. I'm doing them here on YouTube, but only for Patreon because I get too shy, I think, to do it on, but also it's a benefit. I want to keep it as a Patreon benefit because, like, it's nice to sit for a couple of hours at least and just like work. Alrighty, so this is just a simple little piece, but I think I'm okay with that. It would go really nice in like a lot of journals. Like, I like to have things that are kind of generic, you know, just to like let it be. I think I'll just tear around each of these little adorable people. Two. Okay. I need to tear this. I hope you have like something that you can't tear. You can just come in with scissors and rough it up, and that works just as well. So I think with these, I might make like clusters or labels or something. Totally wish I had a punch, like a label punch here, but I do not. And that's the struggle, the eternal struggle with armchair crafting. That's okay. We will figure it out. Okay, plunk that down. And then I want to tear around those also again. And I think I might get started. Like, I'm doing this thing where I'm starting a million things at once, but I'm excited to work on them. So I want to do like a little commonplace journal, the kind that I haven't made in a while, with like a fun fabric cover. Like a patchworky flea market style kind of journal. I might do a few of them like almost with a TN type shape. But patchwork fabric maybe, and like an extra flip to wrap them with. Lots of things to think about. Okay. All right, so these are clustery. Then I've got this scrap here. This is from like a how-to kind of art book. I think I might take this off the side. Make labels the old-fashioned way. I really just kind of want to snip them, but I don't want them to be woefully uneven, but that looks fine. Okay. Then I would put her on top maybe. And then I might layer another like label there too, or something like a ticket like this. And that would be really cute. Let's do that. Where are my... Ha. But yeah, I think my husband is sorting out the things on the dining room table. I've been kind of working on it for a couple of days. I had packed all the, Christmas gifts for the kids. Like, they're all kind of in organized totes on the dining room table so that we can, like, put them away, like on my daughter's art supplies in our art desk, and, new clothes in the closet, and, all that stuff. So I think he's working a little more on that. I have been doing it throughout the week here and there. But we want to get the dining room put back together, put the Christmas stuff away, get the Christmas tree outside on the curb, and kind of put the house back together. Because I think I want to host a little make-do build party at my house for my son and his little friend, and my daughter. But my son has a little friend that lives around the corner who I think would enjoy coming over to build with cardboard with us. And I'm like one of those people where I require some level of perfection when I have people over, because that's how my mother and her mother before her were. Like, you run around randomly cleaning things that you don't really need to clean a whole lot, but you're going to do it because you are clearly perfect, and Martha Stewart has nothing on you. So we just keep doing it. I don't know. My house has gone from such a, I honestly had a magazine person come into my home because I have a very artsy home, and they shot photos and stuff years ago before I had kids. And now I think the only magazine that would want to come here would be Destruction Monthly or something. All my spaces that are kind of shared spaces with my kids are Thunderdomes, right? But I mean, they're not dirty. It's just that they're lived in. That kids live here, and it's clear. I have all this built-in cabinetry that my husband and my dad made in my living room. And it used to house like all of our media, and it was all neat and tidy. But now it's like all that media is kind of packed up half in boxes. Some of it's still out, but a lot of it's packed up. And then like what's there is like kids' toys. Half of them are in organized totes. The other half are just like random, because my son, like everywhere he goes, he wants to buy another car. He's very into cars right now. It's like really, I guess it's typical, but at the same time I'm like, really, we need more cars? So okay, like that'll be his thing that he chooses. When I say you can get one thing, it's all often, not always, but often it's a car or like a kit of some kind. Today he chose a combo of the two. It's like a track made from all these little tiny pieces. Like I was kind of shocked at how small the parts are for this thing. I said to my husband, like, that's going to be fun to build. And he just looked at me like, leave me alone. And I don't blame him, because yeah, no fun. That one got way smaller than I want it to be. Oh, I like this. Ooh, that's a nice skyline. Pretty colors of the sky on these. That one's too wonky. Let's try again. Do a bigger one. Yeah, because she's big too, so that goes together. It's a bigger snippet. So thus far, my judgment of this armchair crafting video is that I'm doing way more chatting than I am creating. Something is beeping. What's beeping in here? One moment. Sorry, that was just my daughter's laptop battery. Notification that her laptop was not plugged in. I had to check it, because I'm like, if I hear a beep that I'm not used to, I'm like, that's not the carbon monoxide sensor, is it? Because I am paranoid. Somebody had a gas leak in our neighborhood like a month ago, and it was a little crazy. It was down the road, but everybody was outside goosenecking about it, and I was one of them. I was out there like, oh, what's going on? Does anybody need anything? Like, it was quite a neighborhood event. I also really like this. I'm just going to make a little label out of it, so it can just sit in my labels ephemera. Okay, so we made these 1, 2, 3, 4 little clustery fun little labels with those girls. I like them. And I should probably wrap this up, because I think my battery died once, which means this video's got to be probably an hour, if not a little more. So let me just put my glue away here. So this is just another kind of casual, chatty, crafty kind of series that I hope to do, where I can just ramble about whatever is on my heart and make with you guys. So there's those, this little pocket with the same theme, this cute little puppet, come on, the curtain. This I made beforehand, so it doesn't count, but then the 2 tags are probably what we spent the most time on today. So thanks for hanging out with me. I will be back with these arms in this chair very soon, and this collaboration, I would say, is open. If anybody else wants to do it, please do. Maybe just like, you know, tag me at Studioloo in your video or whatever. Maybe we'll create a hashtag. Why don't we do that? We'll go hashtag beep boop, and then where is I don't want to write it because it will look messy, so let's just arm's length art. Somewhere I have got this. Yeah, I'm not even gonna get up to do this. We're gonna go arms. Can we fit this? Length. No, we can't. Oh, that's bad. Let me do a new one and I'll put it on top of there, like a smaller one. Because you know what I've got? I've got these little guys. Let me just fix this. Goodness me. I won't make you hang out because it will take me forever to like match up all my letters here, because that's just how it goes when you're trying to stamp. But let me create a nicer looking little label for that, and next time you come by you will see it, and it will be #armslengthart. Okay, bye for now.